Kenzie Rose, aka my honeybee. She turned 6 years old today, and she made me a grandma. She made me, hey Tracy. Yeah, so she made me honey. You know, they call me honey, but I'm telling you, that little one right there, that's such a joy. So happy birthday, honeybee. Yes, happy 6th birthday, honeybee. Yes. So what have you been up to, Miss Renee?
I have really been relaxing and really just like taking time for Renee. And it feels good. It feels
Good,
good.
good.
Yes. So it feels good to be back, and let's get jump into our topic.
Yes. So, what are we talking about today?
Shutting out negativity around you.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I'm trying to I don't know what happened. Okay. I don't know. I was trying let me stop being busy. I was trying to pull it up on Facebook. But yes. So Uh, I know that sometimes we go through life, and I can speak for myself. There are times when I'm feeling like, really overwhelmed. I'm feeling like very anxious. I'm just, feeling like I'm all over the place. And then I have to take a step back and pause and
Mm-hmm.
say, "Hey, what's been going on with you? Why are you feeling this way?" And really assess what's been going on around me, what I have been listening to, what I have
Mm-hmm.
been watching, the company that I've been keeping, and really just being mindful of that to say, okay, because we know that we've always heard that it says what you put in is what you'll get out.
Yep.
So,
Mm-hmm.
going along with our topic of, how do we keeping negativity out,
Mm-hmm.
is that we have to be mindful of what we're putting in.
Yes, we do. We do. We have to be mindful of what we're putting in, and also I've learned the past couple of weeks what we watch and what we pay attention to.
Mhm,
I took like a 2 week break from social media,
mhm,
and it was just like a weight was lifted because
mhm.
I wasn't able to see nobody's junk. I wasn't able to see what people were posting. And it was just like without that in my life, like I was doing my puzzles, just games and reading and studying. And I was like, man, like this is what life was like without social media.
Right.
So it was just like a blessing to take a break and not see anybody venting and trying to say, "Oh, I wonder who they talking about." What did they really put that up there? So if for me, it was like I needed that time.
Right. I,
Yeah.
I do think that it's important that
Mhm.
sometimes we're able to shift and we're able to clear our mind of the clutter. Because I will say, like, when I was working with, and anytime that you're working with people, period, but I know especially like when I was working at the group home
Mm.
and working at the independent living program, you
Yes.
had or even when you're doing coaching or counseling, anything like that, when I was doing that, you have people who are dumping on you, right?
Yes.
They're talking to you about their problems. They're talking, and we're fixers, right? That's what we do. And as and a lot of people, they come, they just feel comfortable with talking to us. I have no issue with that, right? That's my ministry, right? That's my purpose, to be here, to be able to help people to get through things. But anyway, we also, when we're doing that, we have to be very mindful that as they're dumping in, that
Hmm.
we're dumping out,
Yes.
because we can get so overwhelmed, right?
Hmm.
And get full of that energy and just, thinking about, oh my gosh, what's going on with so and so, and trying to fix their problems. And we're thinking about it while they're sleeping,
Yes.
right? So we have to be very careful that we guard our hearts and guard our minds, So we have to be careful, and make sure that we are taking that time to just say, you know what, I'm just taking a knee,
Yeah.
right? I'm going to shut everything down. And it's not for me to, be like, oh, I don't want to be bothered with anybody. And it's not that type of thing, right? You don't have to do it in a negative tone or a negative manner. That's part of self-care.
Yes, it is.
Everybody talks about, oh, self-care this, self-care that. Sometimes self-care is taking a nap, taking a knee, and just unplugging completely.
And I, when you said that, literally, I was thinking like, I visualize a lot of stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm visualizing a trash can. You don't
Mm-hmm.
want a trash can sitting in your house full of trash. Why? Because it stinks.
Exactly.
It's just
Right.
like, it's just sitting there with everything that you had. So that's what
Mm-hmm.
we have to do sometimes, like pick up the trash, take it outside every day. So that's what we have
Right.
to do. Like you said, when people are venting and telling us certain things, we have to do that. And I'm learning too, because like you said, we do carry a lot of burdens, and people come and tell you stuff. We're fixers. We want to fix,
Right.
we want to, help everybody. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm realizing that we have to have, kind of like what you said when you said protect our heart and our mind. We
Mm-hmm.
have to have layers of boundaries
That's it.
where, and and it took me so long to learn that when you have the boundaries, that means I'm listening to what you're saying to me, but I'm not going to try to take on your problem and try to help you. And you're
Yeah.
sitting there like this.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So we have to learn, okay, I'm listening to you. When you come to me with the solution, then I can come to you with the answer, not
Right.
just me trying to constantly try to fix things. But again, it goes back to our boundaries. We have to set boundaries. We have to.
Yeah.
And everybody does not need to have access to certain parts of you, if I'm making sense.
You're 110% making sense, because that is very true. Sometimes we want to be so open, and we're so transparent. I just want to be there for everything and everybody. But it's just like, it's just like a bank account. If you're constantly withdrawing, constantly
Mhm.
withdrawing, constantly withdrawing, and you're not putting anything in, eventually you're going to be in the negative.
Yeah.
And that's where we tend to get burned out. We get depressed. We're going cuckoo, because we're just like, oh my gosh, I have nothing left for myself. You're
Mhm.
totally exhausted, not just physically, but also emotionally and spiritually. Um, you're drained and
Yeah.
you're exhausted. And it comes a time where, again, like, it's okay. And I think that we live in a world now, in a climate where it's like everything has to be done now, 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 now,
Exactly.
now, right? And if you're not doing something, then you're being lazy. If you're not,
Mhm.
we're constantly running, trying to get to the next thing before we
Yeah.
finish the first thing, you
Yes.
know? And so I know that, like, I was telling somebody, talking to somebody about my schedule, and I do have a very hectic schedule, right? Every night there's something that I have to do.
Mhm.
I did get one free night because I'm not in school right now, which will be starting soon. But and this is the last year, okay? Um, but those are, so we really have to take a look at, is this something that is helping me,
Mhm.
and really, or is this something that maybe I don't have to do right now, because we
Yeah.
don't have to do everything right now.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to really be gentle with yourself, and give yourself, how we give other people grace, we have to give ourselves grace, because honestly there are times when I'm just totally exhausted and I can't do anything. And I'm laying there and I'm like, oh my gosh, my mind, even though my body, I'm still laying there, my brain is like on a gajillion, because I'm like, I need to do this and I should be doing that. And I
Yes.
got to remember, when I get up from here doing this,
Ah,
I gotta do. I don't get any sleep. I wake up and I'm still tired. I'm like,
Yeah.
whew.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Wake up at 5. The
Yes.
same way. Yeah, I'm the same way. But I'm
Oh.
learning now that I guess for me, focus forward is what I'm looking at. And when I
Mhm,
say focus forward, focusing on what's in front of me
mhm.
and really praying about making sure everything that I do has a purpose. I think that
Yeah.
makes a difference too. Because
Yes.
before I can honestly say I was doing a lot of different things and I was like, oh, I feel like I could do this, I could do this, I can do that. But now I'm trying to be more um, focus driven, not focus, but purpose
Purpose
driven.
driven.
Yeah,
Mhm.
purpose driven. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we also have to know there's a big difference between being busy and being productive. Are
Yes,
you
it
just being
is.
busy? Are you
Yeah,
just doing things? Are you
yeah.
just, oh, I'm always doing this, I'm doing that. But are you being productive at the end of the day with all the things that you've done? And when
Mhm.
you're exhausted, I mean, I feel good like when I am exhausted, but I have something to show for it. It
Yeah.
wasn't that I was just, oh, I'm just, doing this. No, mm-mm, no. And I've learned, no, I cannot do everything because that was me too. I felt obligated to always say yes to doing whatever it is that somebody would ask me to do.
Hmm.
Or if I saw something, I was like, oh, yeah, maybe I should do that. Or maybe, let me help out. No, nope, not going to do
Yeah.
it.
um, we are all off topic. We're supposed to be talking about shutting down negativity around you.
Well, no, because
That's a
this is
that's a
part of
way.
it. This is
Yeah,
part of it,
that
right?
is a part of it. Yes,
Right. Because
yes,
you were saying, because we got, I think we kind of got here. We were talking about like social media and really setting those
yes.
boundaries. So that is, that's a big way to shut out the negativity.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
really setting boundaries with yourself. And it goes both ways. So your boundaries with people that are on the outside, right?
Mhm.
To say, like you said, everybody doesn't have access to every part of me, right? And because when they do, if it's somebody that doesn't have good intentions, and I'm a firm believer that that energy, those spirits, they're gonna try you,
Mhm.
and no, I don't want it around me. I can't, no. You, I'm gonna tell you what it be, and then we gonna move on from there. But
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
but also setting boundaries with yourself, and you have to learn to tell yourself, no, I'm not taking on another project. No,
Mhm.
before I start that, now it might be on my board,
Yeah.
right? It might be in my plan,
Yeah.
but not right now.
Yeah. We have to, and I'm just, I'm learning. I've learned. I've bumped my head enough times to know that um, everybody, the access, that's my biggest thing now, access and boundaries. And
Mm,
before I would be so afraid to say, oh, I'm being mean, or no,
right.
I'm learning now that if you see me shut down and I
Mm,
get to the point where I can't communicate freely, I
mhm.
know this is not the right environment for me. It's not.
Right.
It's not.
Right.
And for me, I've cut a lot of people back, not being mean, but protecting myself
Mhm.
and getting to a place where I am now. Once you get to that place of peace and happiness and
Right.
joy, that you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I don't, it's like you don't want to leave that place.
Right.
And that's where I'm at right now. Like, I don't want to leave this place that God is positioning me in. And I've cut a lot of people back and off to the point where I still communicate, but I know what to communicate now. And that makes a big difference when you're talking to people, what
It
you are communicating with people.
Yeah, and it does because there is just, I mean, think about it. When you go to the library is full of books, but it also has different genres, right?
Yes.
You have, and then even within the same genres, you have some hard back books, and then you
Yes.
also have some paperback books. You
I
have
love it.
audio books. You
Yeah.
have, so everything is not for everybody, and so we do have to learn that that you have to separate. you
Yeah.
know this here, there's a part of you that, when with your children, that nobody else is allowed in that space,
Yeah.
right? There's a part for your mom, nobody is allowed in that space.
Yeah.
So, and we have to learn to be able to do that with other people, even with our friends.
Yeah.
We have friends where, it's we may go out, and we can go to dinner, or we can talk about certain things.
Yeah.
And then you may have some where you can just let it all hang out.
Yes.
And I know people are like, well, if you can't let it all hang out, maybe those aren't friends, those are associates.
No.
Then you have to learn how to, I mean, I love everybody, but
Yes.
it's like you said, it's just that certain people aren't allowed in certain spaces in
Yeah.
my life.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's, as you grow, as you mature, you realize what's important. You realize who's important, and you realize what role people should play in your life.
Mhm.
I was reading a story today, and a guy, they were friends from grade school, and he ended up killing him.
Wow.
He killed him in front of his kids. And reading the article, yeah. And it's like he probably had no idea, like we grew up together.
Right.
But he probably had no idea that he would meet his demise by somebody he grew up with, who he considered to be a best friend.
Wow.
And that's why in this time, you have to really discern who's around you and
Yeah.
what their intentions are. And I'm not saying you have to be suspicious of everybody, because it was a time where I would do that, be suspicious of everybody. But now,
Yes.
I know. I'm learning to pray more, and I'm learning to ask God to show me, not me try to be suspicious, but to show me, because
Right.
you need to know, if I'm telling you something and I'm considering you to be somebody close, but you're trying to harm me. That's not good.
Right. Right. Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
So that's why so many people are caught off guard by, this person, I thought you was for me, now you're against me. Because no, we need to pray. We need discernment,
We
because
do.
everybody that's getting close to you, their intentions may not be what you think.
Well, and also, I mean, sometimes people's intentions change.
They do.
Because if
Yeah.
they're not, because I mean, just think about, I've had friends, and I had a very good friend,
Yeah.
that we were so close that when people saw me, they saw her. When they saw her, they saw me.
Yeah.
So we were always together, but there came a time where our lives separated. And
Yes.
it wasn't that, no love lost. It was that our lives went different ways.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I
It is.
still love you.
Yeah.
But where I'm going, or where you're going, and it's not, we're
Yes.
going two separate ways, and we cannot, like Tracy said, you have to separate without feeling guilty.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Yes, that
Yeah.
there, right there, is a
Yeah.
negative feeling to have. When you're
Mhm.
constantly feeling guilty, oh my gosh, I feel bad. So I have to continue to talk to them. I have to continue to keep the friendship. And oh, they need me. Listen, they need Jesus. Jesus will send them somebody
We'll fix it.
who will fix it. And it may not be you. Listen, they need a plumber, and you're an electrician.
Not gonna work.
Not at all.
No, no, no. And, and it's so dangerous now. I'm just learning. So yeah, when I say I've learned,
Yeah.
like, it is just so dangerous now. Even certain conversations, where you go.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying we have to operate and walk in fear. No, you operate in wisdom.
There we go.
And when you operate in wisdom, you'll learn, shut it.
Yeah.
Don't go.
Right.
Walk away.
Yes.
Because it's not, to me, it's now, it's just, it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
No, and it's not, you know. Just another way to, keep out negativity. So we talked about, really being mindful of what you're looking at, what you're
Yeah.
reading and watching on social media. Some of these TV shows, sometimes the things that that you are the shows that you're watching, and some every now and again I get into it where I just want to watch what I call just stupid TV, where I don't have to think about anything, because I used to watch a lot of crime shows, right?
Yes. Love them.
All the SUVs and all that stuff, the ID channel, all that stuff. I was the detective. We were solving those mysteries. But then it also makes you, to be very leery of everybody.
Yeah.
Again, like you said, we have to walk in wisdom. We should not walk in fear.
Yeah.
We have to walk in wisdom.
Yeah.
So, social media, that's one way to let it go. The what we're watching on TV, we got to be careful of that. We also have to be careful of the music that we're listening to.
Yeah.
Sometimes guilty. Sometimes I get in some of the moods and I'm like, stop listening to this, because you can't be getting out the car, you riding down the road. You can't do that.
Oh my gosh.
You cannot do that, Gangsta Angela.
Oh my
Gangsta
goodness.
Boo. So, but we have to be no, but we have to be
We
careful of what
do.
it is that we're listening to. We're watching things on YouTube. We're following certain people, right? I know I was talking to somebody and they were saying, and this is a gospel singer, and they said, but every time I hear this person sing,
Mm-hmm.
I get depressed. And
Mm.
after like listening to an interview that this person had did, they were saying that at that time
Mm-hmm.
they were depressed,
Wow.
right? But they were still pushing through, and then listening to the music,
Mm-hmm.
you can hear it.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So some people are able to discern even things of that. So we
Yeah.
have to be careful. Let your spirit will check you. So that's why we have to
Yeah.
continuously feed the spirit so that they can grow and be on lock.
You said something, and um, my sister, the YouTube queen,
Yeah.
she was like, "Have you heard?" She was like, "You got to listen to this song." She was like, "Listen to this sermon," and she sent me this thing, and I'm listening to the sermon, and the pastor is talking about a popular song that's out now. And I said, I don't want to hear the song. I'm going to go look at the lyrics. I want to read the lyrics to the song. But this particular artist was basically telling people to do things to the Bible and saying it's okay to go to church one night and twerk the other night. Yeah. And I'm like, what? She was like, church girl, it's okay to do this. Church girl's okay to do that. And I'm like, and when he was saying and reading the lyrics, I'm like, I said, what? Like, this is a song? So I
Right.
haven't looked up the lyrics to the song. I was just listening to what the pastor was saying. He said, and I know I'm going to catch a lot of slack for this. He said, but if you are representing Christ, this is not the image that you should be displaying. And I want to let you know it's one thing to struggle, but it's another thing to say that this lifestyle is okay.
Right.
And he would, from my understanding, this song is very popular. So yeah, it's called Church Girl. So we have to be very careful who's influencing us, because this particular artist is very popular. She's not a gospel artist, but the song is it's geared towards church people because the name of the song is Church Girl. And she's basically saying, church girl, it's okay if you do this. Church girl, it's all right if you do this. Church girl, do this, do that. You have to be careful who you allow to lead you, because
Right.
the influence that she has, somebody's going to listen to this song and say, oh, she says it, she's popular, it's all right if I do it.
Right. Yeah, see, again, well, I'm not going to say again because I didn't say it tonight, but I've said it before, so I am going to say again. I'm going back to where you have to eat the meat and spit out the bone, right? That's why it's so important that we have to know the word for ourselves,
Yeah.
that we have to have a relationship with Christ ourselves,
Yeah.
and that we have to be able to um discern and to know, when and be cognizant of when our spirit is checking us.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you feed your spirit, the Holy Spirit will check you,
Yeah.
right? And it doesn't matter what other people are saying.
Mm-hmm.
It won't matter about, what's popular, but because you'll be like, I can't take that. I
Mm-hmm.
remember it was a long time ago. We went to church and there was a lady there, and that she said that when she hears secular music, when she heard secular music, that she heard static.
Yeah.
She couldn't, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's how she was so far removed from that.
Yeah.
And you know, you just, oh my gosh. Yeah, you have to be very careful. And even with some of the pastors, it was something that it was on it's on the internet now. There was a pastor and um he was talking about Boaz, and he said you got to be careful. And I had read it before, but I hadn't actually heard a pastor say this in the pulpit. And he was talking about Boaz, and he said you have to be careful that you don't get the wrong AZ, right? You want Boaz, you don't want dead, you don't want broke, you don't want whatever. And he was saying this, and yes, I know there's a play on word because he was saying AZ and as, right? But you're there and you're in the pulpit. You have to be very mindful of those things. That to me is where you have to be careful of not letting negative things come in. That's to me is we're representing Jesus Christ, right? And I don't always get it right. And today I had to repent for some of the things that came out of my mouth and some of the thoughts I had in my mind. But I'm also not a pastor and on there saying all this stuff in the pulpit to your
And
entire congregation.
that right there, I don't care who watching, but that right there, that right there. There
Yes,
are certain words that should not come out your mouth when you are in the pulpit, wherever you are. That should
right,
not come out your mouth. And I've heard some things come across pulpits that to me, they should be ashamed to say out their mouth. When
right,
you decide that you want to get in that pulpit, you have to pray and really ask God to word your mouth. Because if you say something that is offensive to anybody, you are held accountable for that. And
right.
that's one place to me when I say I am trembling when I have to get in that pulpit, because I never, and if I do, I say, God, forgive me. I need you to show me. You have to
Right.
be so sensitive to God when you are in that pulpit. It's not a
Yeah.
place to play.
It's
And that
not.
pastor, yeah, that pastor is going to be held accountable for what he said out his mouth. I mean,
Yeah.
I've heard some words and I'm like, you are going to be held accountable for how you offended those people and the
Right,
words that you said out your mouth that you know you should not have said. And
right.
that pastor is really going to be held accountable for that. We have
Yeah,
this thing now where people are trying to keep up with the latest trend, and I want to go viral. I want to be popular. And you saying stuff out your mouth that the world would say. If you have to use gimmicks and things of the world to try to win people to Christ, guess what? That's not the calling for you.
it's not. And guess what? Those people may come for the moment, but are they coming for the right thing?
That's right. That's
Right?
right.
Is it going to be sustainable?
That's right.
Because then once you start, once you trying to bring people in with gimmicks,
Yes.
And then when you're like, okay, now here I gotta preach the word, or they're going
Yes,
somewhere else and they're really hearing the true gospel,
that's right.
then they're going to be so confused. And not to say that, that you have to be so rigid and
Yeah,
so, so, what is it, so heavenly bound that you're no earthly good.
yeah,
There has to be balance there.
that's right.
You know what I'm saying? Because we can take it from one extreme to the next.
That's right.
My mom was in the hospital, and you know what the doctor told her? She was drinking too much water.
Wow.
When everybody is always like, you gotta drink water, you gotta drink water, you gotta drink water. The doctor was like, you're drinking too much water. And so they had to cut down her fluids.
Yeah,
So even too much water can be dangerous to you.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So it's like we have to have that balance and really be careful that we're not going to the extreme.
we do. We do.
Hmm.
That's why I say now it's so important, whatever platform that God gives you, or that you have, whether it be at work, home, social media, we have to take responsibility for it. And I did not understand that until maybe a year or two ago, how much responsibility that I have, or you and I have, anybody have, meaning that whatever you say out your mouth, whatever you put on social media, people are looking at that, and you are accountable for that.
Yes.
And we have to make sure, and like you said, I'm not saying you have to walk around on eggshells, but sometimes we need to shut everything down because we're talking too much. And that's the problem sometimes.
Yeah. 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 Listen, that's another way to keep negativity out.
Shut up.
Be quiet. Yep. Because we're thinking that we're just talking. You are just talking. Is it what you're saying? Does it making sense? Are you speaking negativity out of your mouth? Um, it was some didn't we get a question about manifestation? Yes. And so how a lot of people now they are manifesting these things and saying this and saying that. Yes, what we say, it matters. Words do matter. What you say out of your mouth, it matters. Your thoughts, they matter.
Yeah.
So you have to keep your thoughts clean, right? When you find yourself and you constantly, because sometimes I do catch myself because I be like this. That's why I got these little wrinkles right here, because I be like this, thinking real hard, you know, and we have to, and that's when I'm like, oh no, 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 let me pray, let me read my Bible, let me watch something funny, let me read something, because you got to be careful. Are you talking
With
with
a
a
purpose.
purpose? That's true. Are you? Are you?
That's why sometimes it's best to be quiet. I'm learning. So I tell you,
Well, Renee, when you're constantly talking, you can never hear anything
no.
because you're always talking.
Yeah.
You just
And
have
people
to
don't understand
be
that.
quiet.
People don't understand that.
Hmm.
And I'm stuck on this pastor saying this stuff though. I am.
Right.
I am. Use your platforms wisely. That's all I can say. Use
Yeah.
your platforms, use it wisely.
Well, we are in a age and in an era where people are like, oh, I'm keeping it a stack. I'm keeping it 100. I think I've told everybody this before. I hate when people say that. I'm keeping it 100. Just shut up. Because if you have to tell me that, then you're not. So just be quiet.
I can honestly say, again, pray. Sometimes the best thing to do is to take a step back.
Mhm.
And if you're not sure what to do, what to say, where to go, get around somebody that's not afraid to tell you the truth.
A to the men. A to the men.
And you have people clapping as he said all this that mess too.
He did. He did.
And that's what bothers me too, when you are full of mess and you're spilling out mess and people are agreeing with your mess and they're not telling you that you're saying a nothing but a bunch of mess.
Yeah, I just like I said, there's a place and time for everything. Um I I understand what it was that he was trying to convey, right? Where
Yeah.
he's saying that, when you're there, you're waiting on your Boaz, the enemy will send counterfeits.
And that
So
and
we
that
do have to be
yeah.
mindful of who is, that it's not a counterfeit.
Yeah.
I get what it is that he was trying to say. And like I said, I had read it before,
Yeah.
but I never actually heard a pastor saying this in the pulpit. So yeah, but even and people, we have to be very mindful because
Whew.
we're supposed to be building the kingdom
Not tearing it down.
and not tearing it down. And then you have so many people who are not just leaving the church building,
Yeah.
but they're leaving, relationship with Christ altogether. Because I don't really like to use the word religion,
Mm-hmm.
because it just seems like religion comes with a lot of like rituals and all that other stuff,
Yeah.
right? um they're leaving relationship with Jesus Christ, and they're
Yeah.
just like, or they're being so relaxed with it. you know God knows my heart. He absolutely does. He absolutely knows your heart.
Yeah.
But when you have a relationship with somebody, it's not just about what it is that you can get from them.
Mm-hmm.
You love them so much that you want to give all of you to them, which
Mm-hmm.
means that there's going to be some things that, and as we mature, there's some things that we just let go. We don't drink milk no more. We on meat.
And that's the thing too. We should see some type of growth.
Mhm.
And the more that we grow, the further negativity, for me, the further negativity, um, it moves away from us. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because it's like mess and growth, they
Right.
can't mix. For me, they can't mix.
Well, okay. So, um, I'm pushed back on that a little bit
Push back. Go ahead.
because mess can grow if you allow it to,
You're
because
right.
what you
Yeah,
focus on is going to grow.
that's right. You're right.
You
You're
know,
right.
now do you want weeds or do you want flowers?
Yeah.
That's the difference,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. A
Because
lot of
what
people
it said,
focus on the flowers.
right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So that's what you want to focus on. You want to
Yeah.
focus on the flowers, not on it, because the wheat and the tare grew together.
Yeah.
And so we have to be mindful that as we're growing and we're
Hmm.
maturing, that we don't have wheat and tear growing together. Or if we do, we know the difference and we know we're not going to focus on that.
Yeah.
We're going to
Yeah.
get to a place where we are mature enough to see, oh, no, that ain't right. This
Yeah.
has to go. This has to go. And it's not always a who, right? Because we got to be careful because we're constantly throwing people away, but we have
Yeah.
to throw habits away.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the negativity, it doesn't start with other people. The
Yeah.
negativity starts with us. It starts with, and I think you said, well, I know you said this on Sunday. I don't think, because I was there and you did a great job, by the way.
Thank you.
Um, but on Sunday, where you were saying, you things that have been said to you in your childhood, those things grow with you.
Yes, they
And
do.
if you're focusing on those negative words,
Yeah.
right? You're focusing, and by no means am I saying that you're just supposed to just be like, oh, just forget it and get over
Mhm.
it. Don't tell nobody to just get over it.
That's
Let's
right.
let's help them get through it.
Do it. That's right.
Right? We gotta be careful because words matter, right?
Yes,
When you
they
tell
do.
somebody, oh, just get over it. No, but boo, let's get through this. Let's
That's
work
right.
together and get through it. But they have to do the work. You can't be the one that's there punching the rocks for them. No, let's chip this thing away together.
That's right. That's right. You have to do it together. You have to
Exactly.
want to change, want to see results, want to do things different, and also we have to be open to listen to other people,
Come on.
their perspective, and be willing to know that we're not always right. And if you're not right, it's not saying nobody is knocking you. Nobody is
Right.
saying, oh, you're never right. Just saying that there's a better way to do things. There's a better way to say something. There's a better way to get a different outcome than what
Mhm.
you've always gotten. And we
Right.
have to look at how far we've gone. If we haven't grown in certain areas, then obviously you're doing something wrong and you need to sit down and ask somebody, can you help me get to where I need to get because I'm not getting anywhere?
Exactly. And if you have 50 people saying the same thing, it can't be the 50 people. What's
Yes,
the common denominator?
that's right. That's right.
So
That's
we have to
right.
always examine ourselves because, a way to keep what we're talking about, how do we keep negativity out? How
Yeah.
do we get rid of it?
Yeah.
Starts with us. It starts with us. Clean your heart.
Yeah.
Lord, help me. What is in my heart? And even in those secret places, in those hidden places, that I keep trying to cover up.
Hmm.
What is it that, that's going on in my mind?
Yeah.
Help me, heal my mind and reveal to me those things. What are you thinking about all the time? Because
Hmm.
that has a lot. All right, you reading your Bible? Right now, it's an app. You can listen to it. You don't even
Yeah.
have to read it. If you're like, I don't have time, because that was my excuse. I don't have time. I gotta hurry up. I gotta do this. I gotta do. You can listen to it while you right there brushing your teeth.
Yep.
Listen to it. You might have to go back and be like, what they say?
Exactly.
But don't just do that. I mean, study the word and
Yeah.
know it for yourself, because
That's
then
right.
that is a way to keep out negativity, because guess what? In that instruction manual, it gives you a whole lot of ways to keep out negativity.
There you go.
We could leave it right there, girl.
There you go. I was about to say, do you have an Angie moment for us to close us out?
I actually do. So my Angie moment is that we have to learn, and just the same grace that we want people to give us is the same grace that we should be giving to other people. Um, when we are constantly holding on to things, we're holding on to anger, holding on to bitterness,
Mm.
we're holding on to hatred. And anger and bitterness, those mixed together, they will turn into hatred. So we have to be very careful about that.
Yeah.
And we want, when we make mistakes, for people to show us that grace. God shows it to us all the time. And I am just so grateful that, I have always been one that, I will forgive. Now, you can't keep making me a fool of me, but I will forgive. And I do that because I think about how God has forgiven me and my filthiness, right? Me and the things that some people they saw and some things people did not see.
Hmm.
Yet and still, God forgave me. He shows me grace. He shows me mercy always. And it's so important that we afford that to other people. We have to, how we win souls, how? With love.
Yeah.
And that's what we should continue to walk in. And not just with others, but with ourselves as well. So I encourage you to make sure that as we close out this week, that we are moving forward and we're showing people grace, just as God shows it to us.
Oh, amen. That's our Angie moments. And that is our show for tonight.
Yes.
We'll be back next week, next Thursday, 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
And
Yes, it has been real. Thank you, everybody. And we will see y'all another time. Yes, Miss Bernice.
Hi, Miss Bernice.
Yes, hi. She hung in there with us.
Yes, she did.
Yes, Tamiko, Tracy,
yes.
Shauna.
Yes.
We appreciate you all.
We do. We do. And we'll see you all next week at 7 o'clock.
Peace out. Bye.